Jose, Ole's just a puppet. Didn't actually say Ole's a puppet. He said nice guy managers sometimes become puppets. But, you know, he couldn't possibly be talking about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, could he? Could he? Yes, he is. Lamps joy as Rams stun Leeds in a semi-thriller. Sarri eyes Italian job and UEFA aid offer is on table. So we'll get to that story in a minute.
The Irish Times leads with the golf. Philip Rees is at Bethpage on Long Island. He says, notoriously difficult layout to test mental strength of world's best. If you go up to Bethpage Black, there is like a sign like they have on the very tough ski slopes. As in they say, this is for extremely experienced golfers. Just short of saying this is very, very dangerous. And like, I don't want to undervalue Augusta any bit, but in comparison to Bethpage, you can get away with a few errors, particularly off the tee box, which, let's face it, Tiger got away with in April. This occasion, if he plays the same way, he's going to be in a bit more trouble, I think.
Are they saying that it's going to be an over par winner? Is that?
I haven't actually. I'm not actually sure, to be quite honest. We'll get John's taking that later on.
Marriott's Premier Inn now. It's Lamps versus Pal Terry. Yeah, it's the old Chelsea derby. FAI jobs fear adds to crisis. Don't panic. Euro millions help FAI reassure staff. So it was an interesting 24 hours in FAI land yesterday when SIPTU came out with a statement and said that they feared that the organisation was on the brink of insolvency. The FAI immediately came out with a statement rubbishing that. And then apparently last night, Donald Conway, the president of the FAI, said that there was no financial worries that were imminent because UEFA had decided that whatever financial support the FAI needed, they would get a backing for. There's the 10 million is the figure that John Fallon has on the back of the Times Ireland edition this morning. FAI said to get 10 million bailout from UEFA. And so UEFA basically said whatever the issues are, we will help you to overcome them. Conway did also finally stick a pin in the notion that the FAI would be debt-free by 2020. He said it'll be 5 years at least before the FAI is debt-free. But whoever comes in, that new broom, that new board and that new chief executive will get the opportunity to decide whether or not that's actually something that they want to progress. That maybe having a little bit of debt for a massive sports body isn't that big a deal at all. It's like having a mortgage.
It certainly seems that the 2020 comment just has been a bit another disaster on that front in terms of actually being debt-free. Unless they're counting debt-free, including the €10 million bailout they're going to get. Just forget that that's not our money. The back page of the Irish Independent is Kennedy's 4-week ban. Dublin selector accepts punishment for bizarre Nolan Park incident. That's Greg Kennedy. Going to miss 2 games as Dublin's Mayor Forna. And Munster talked to Larkham over backs coach vacancy. This is an interesting Irish Independent exclusive. So Stephen Larkham, who of course was involved with the Wallabies until a supposed falling out with Michael Cheika earlier this year. He was axed from the setup, is being linked with one of the vacant roles at Munster. New backs and attack coach ahead of next season is what Cian Tracy's reporting as his role.
Excited about that?
That'd be quite the high-profile appointment, wouldn't it? And we had him on the show last year, yeah, during the summer tour to Australia. He seems like he's well clued in, seems like a guy who's highly respected, and maybe it was just a clash of personalities that forced him out of Australia rather than a lack of talent as a coach.
Another part of the David Eustaforo coaching tree as well. He played for Eustaforo when Eustaforo was a coach at Queensland Reds at the early part of the noughties, and there was definitely stories that Czech is going after the World Cup no matter what happens, and that Larkham was being lined up to be the next head coach. So part of me thinks that it's a great thing if he does come, but the other part of you would be like, is he coming for a short period, or is he here who's actually somebody who you can put into your coaching ticket now and decide, okay, this is how it's going to be for the next 3 years, so that, you know, the best years of Conor Murray's career are the years that you have a style of play, a philosophy of play that is consistent, because he's never had that, you know.
Munster can't really afford another short-term fix at the moment.
No.
But the whole World Cup looming issue does kind of work 2 ways, and one of the ways is that this guy's also waiting for the end of the World Cup, and perhaps swoop on in and try and persuade him that staying with Munster for 3 years or even 2, you take him for 2 years, is a good move for his career.
Okay, so this is the 8 million is the figure that the Irish Examiner have. UEFA right to FAI's rescue. A figure wasn't put forward by Donald Conway, so obviously there were briefings afterwards about how much UEFA will be willing to support the FAI under the current circumstances. Augusta Encore, can revitalise Tiger build on Masters redemption at Bethpage? Paul McGinley was on the radio last night talking about this, so if you missed that, you can get it on our podcast, offtheball.com/podcasts. And then how Munster players took Joey Carbery to their hearts. So Joey Carbery has been singing a song of love to Munster in his pre-Munster Leinster Pro 14 semi-final press conference.
He said he's going to feel a little bit emotional going back to the RDS. Gone back to the Aviva before, but the RDS is just a little bit closer to home with the play there, obviously much more for Leinster. Back page of the Times Ireland edition goes with FAI set to get €10 million bailout from UEFA. You've got celebratory Frank Lampard there as well. He takes Spygate revenge. And Wicklow push for two-tier championship. So Damien Lawler's reporting that the GAA looks set to hold a special congress this winter with a motion to introduce a two-tier football championship. And that's going to receive a lot of debate, you'd imagine.
Yeah, we'll talk about that on Shot Clock as well, with Kieran Donaghy coming up around a little while. FAI's dig out. UEFA stumps up millions in rescue deal. Phil Quinn has the same story there. The unprecedented arrangement with the European governing body dwarfs the 100,000 loan which former CEO John Delaney, the news of which in March sparked the FAI's current crisis. And Scots rage at all-Irish official list for Ulster semi. Pro 14 chiefs have defended their decision to appoint an all-Irish group of officials for tomorrow's crucial semi-final playoff between Glasgow and Ulster at Scottstown. So the Scots are like, entirely Irish set of referees. What could possibly go wrong? Nothing, obviously. All you do is give out about the fact that they're all Irish, and then they'll be on their best behaviour.
Yeah, for sure.
Be extra harsh.
The Racing Post goes with the heat is on. It's Derby D-Day for Too Darn Hot and Frankie Dettori in an unmissable Dante Stakes at York. And the back page, it's a high-profile golfer, Jason Cockrack. Unleash the power. Big hitters to make a flying start in the year's second major. He is a big hitter, and they're backing him to make some sort of waves at Bethpage this weekend.
Puppet on a string. Tab of the morning to you. Puppet on a string. Jose's dig at nice guy Ole. This is going to be good, isn't it? Watching Jose Mourinho, just spend Manchester United money by doing nothing for a while. Just let it run down to the point where, okay, I can go back to work now. Man United have paid me 20 million for not working, but sitting on the sidelines going, well, I wouldn't have done that. Oh, do you think Jose Mourinho's really the best person for this? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is really the best person for this job? He must enjoy that, right? Smug
Jose is one of the best forms of Jose. It's certainly better than miserable, grumpy, haggard Jose.
Maybe he's just a TV pundit. Maybe he's like this version of Roy Keane. My job now is to be on television, and everybody's like, what's he going to say?
Unless he just waits 5 years for the current style of play trends to kind of fade into what were kind of Italian trends, more defensive solidity. Once that comes back on vogue, Jose Mourinho can slip back into management and be successful again.
The next cycle.
Right now is not the time for Jose to go back in.
FAI set for 10 million aid from UEFA. Kennedy faces 4-week ban. Ell of a night for Frank. So Frank Lampard at Ellen Road, rubbing it in the faces of Leeds United. Everybody was predicting Leeds just coasting through, but it didn't happen. Have you got one more? You do.
The back page of The Guardian shows a picture of Jack Marriott celebrating his second goal as Derby come from behind to get to the playoff final. But the main story here, Andy Hunter has spoken to Martin Cox, the brother of Sean Cox, because City team's Battered in the Street song hurts family of Sean Cox. Now, this has been a story that's kind of been circulating, especially on social media over the past couple of days, and Manchester City have said that the claims that the chant mocked Sean Cox or the Hillsborough disaster are entirely without foundation, and Martin Cox does accept that the song is not about his brother, but he admits the song hit a raw nerve and insults everyone affected by football-related violence, including the Manchester City fan Paul Worth, who was left in a coma after being attacked in Germany in February. He says, I know the song isn't about Sean, I've listened to the lyrics of the song and it is not aimed at Sean, but at what happened in Kiev, where other people were victims of football violence. The song mentions people being battered in the streets. Sean and I were walking down the street that night when he was attacked, and something like this brings back painful memories.
And then the final headline for now is UEFA and FIFA will come to FAI's aid in hour of need. So this is the story that, and it's going to be interesting to see the power struggle between Sport Ireland and UEFA. And Sport Ireland aren't that keen on UEFA being centrally involved. UEFA were apparently going to put Noel Mooney in to help stabilise things. Obviously, a vastly experienced football administrator who works with UEFA. And apparently there's like a little bit of reluctance. I wonder what that reluctance is. I'm sure that will come out fairly soon.
This all has kind of the stench of Angela Merkel coming in to save the country a few years ago, doesn't it? Basically like the kind of handsome mid-European men come in with their fancy suits and Rolex watches to try and save an Irish government body.
In this instance, though, you know, there won't be a decade of austerity that results in a homelessness crisis. So it's like,
okay, I'm not kind of being tongue-in-cheek.
I know, yeah, but this one's actually really good. This is like probably going to be better for us. So I'm wondering, like, wouldn't it be better, or is it the notion that UEFA will not allow us to have the root and branch reform that's required? Is that the issue?
I don't know. It's hard to know. It's interesting that they're being so proactive in it, or that their eyebrows have certainly been raised by what's happened over the last 8 weeks or so.
Okay. So apparently Jose's Russia Today show is absolutely amazing. So it is good TV, and that's exactly where his future lies.